All right, welcome. January 10th, 2024. This is another episode of Give Wednesday, and today I'm answering the question that I get often, which is, how do I achieve a work-life balance? Well, if you've ever met people from other cultures or other ways of doing things, there's a big saying that says that some people live to work and some people work to live. So my question for you is, which one are you? Is work the priority over everything else in your life, or is your life the priority and sometimes you work jobs to maintain it? That is really what you have to ask yourself. That comes down to point number 2, which is your financial priorities. Are you prioritizing enjoying life, or are you prioritizing working for someone else and making them rich? That's really what it comes down to. That's not cynical, that's not pie in the sky, that's the reality. If you're working at your local store, you're helping the owner of that store make more money. That's it. That's how this works. I'm not saying that's right, I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm not saying you have to want it or you can't want it. Simply stating, that's what it is. What are your priorities? Are you living to work, or are you working to live? Now, that also comes down to your life outside of a job. For some people, it's like, oh, what are you talking about? Of course you have a life outside of your job. But for many people that I have talked to, many clients over the years, they literally give themselves maybe an hour to 2 hours a day. And most of that is recovering from their job, preparing for the next day of their job, and on their maybe 1 or 2 days off a week, if they get that much, then they're just trying to cram in all the to-do stuff to pay all the bills and maybe get some groceries and maybe do something that makes them feel okay and acceptable for a while, and then they go right back into work. I have definitely, especially as a trucker, met many people who they live in their truck, they work in their truck. I mean, these people live to work. They do not have a life outside of working. And if you're coming from that type of point of view and saying, how do I achieve a work-life balance? Well, my first point would be, well, what is your life? Like, what are you trying to balance? What do you need to feel is your life? And how much time and effort do you really need for that? Somebody whose life is running marathons. Well, that can actually take quite a bit of time and recovery, so you might not want to be working as much as somebody who says that their life is reading books or listening to audiobooks. That's something that can kind of be multitasked throughout their job, whatever their job may be, and then they wouldn't need as much time. So it comes down to, what is your life outside of the job? My next point is redefining minimalism. Some people consider it a sacrifice, and some people consider it freedom. Not to mention, other people, their version of minimalism might be that you get a medium instead of an extra large every single time you go get a coffee, as opposed to somebody else who might say that they have completely given up an entire food group altogether, such as carbs, breads, anything like that, simply because of the cost. You need to decide for yourself what feels like sacrifice and what feels like freedom. Because if you're working less, you are potentially making less than what you're making right now. So can you sustain yourself on working less? And if you can't, can you change what work is for you? Can you get a job or create your own job where you make more money per hour or per project so that you have more time for your life balance? Because a lot of people get into this situation that I call the golden handcuffs. They work hard, get paid a little more, paid a little more, paid a little more, paid a little more. But what happens? They got debt. They started living in bigger places. They started paying for more expensive food. They started getting nicer clothes. And now suddenly, even though they're making more money than they ever have in their life, they also have more debt than they've ever had in their life. And they don't know how to step away from it or step back from it. And so they want to have a balance from it. You can only seek balance if you're out of balance. So you first have to address why you're out of balance. You need to decide what your definition of minimalism is, and then why you're in these golden handcuffs. Why are you in a situation right now where you don't just make changes and feel happy about those changes? All right, so this was the next point that I'm going to talk to you about is gathering crumbs to make a cake. What I mean by this is for many people, having a bunch of small little side hustles actually works for them, because while they may only make $15 here, $45 there, maybe a $70 here, they have enough of these little crumbs, these little side gigs and jobs, that when you put it together for the month, they pay all their bills. So you might want to consider, is there something you can do or some way you can bring in little bits of money? It feels like, oh, they're crumbs, but when you gather it all together, when you look at your results for the month, you're actually paying for everything in your month. Are you able to do that? There are many, many ways to do that, whether it's in person, such as cleaning a house, cutting grass, assisting people, or it's kind of being your own self-employment / employee, such as DoorDash, or you go to the point of literally creating a company, hiring out other people, that sort of thing. Maybe what you need to do is hire on one other person to help you out, and that one other person is going to do the job for you every time you need to go to your kid's game or something like that. That's a great way to find a work-life balance. They're little crumbs. They're not a full-time employee. They're only at work maybe once or twice a month, or maybe certain days during a season. So it's crumbs, but when you put that together, it actually gives you the results that you want. Not everything in life is going to be pretty and neat and simple. In fact, majority of the time, life is about gathering the crumbs and making as many cakes as you can, if that made sense to you. My next point is that people will always try to recruit you to make themselves rich. This is a huge mindset flip that I have to work with. Not so much with the people who are already self-employed, but the people who have been employees their whole life, they've only ever had a job. They don't grasp the concept that making, say, $18 an hour is actually hurting them. They're like, what are you talking about? When I first came in, my first job paid $7 an hour. Now I'm making 18. I'm making good money. They don't grasp the concept that, what is the saying? That a salary, a wage, is your bribe for giving up your life, giving up your dreams. That is literally just enough to hopefully pay your bills, and that's it, to where you keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. It's not going to make you rich. It's not going to give you a work-life balance, which is what we're addressing here in this video. Now, plenty of people can have a job, and because they have healthy boundaries, that's my final point with you, is to have final boundaries, they're able to help with it. Does this mean you'll lose a lot of jobs? Absolutely. Especially being a trucker, only working 40 hours a week, that's hardly anything you'll ever hear of. They want you to work 70 hours a week, and in many areas, they want you to work 100 plus, period. They will work you and work you and work you and work you some more. And I, many years ago, took off my golden handcuffs, and I have set my boundaries. And have I been turned down by jobs? Absolutely. Were those places that I should have been working at? Absolutely not. If someone's not going to respect me, I'm not going to stick around. So through that, I have been able to create financial situations for myself time and time again where it meets what I need. And through my own personal version of minimalism, which everyone has to find on their own, I have been able to really make my income be a good income and make my expenses be under my income, be able to invest the difference, build businesses, build projects, and have a nice portfolio to be moving myself forward. That is how I find work-life balance. And actually, this YouTube channel is a great example that very soon here, I will be retiring from jobs altogether, and I need something to do with my time. And what I like to do is to teach and to educate and to help other people. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning how to do this YouTube thing so that I can spend the rest of my years writing books and educating people and helping them find their own freedom. So that's kind of all I have for you today. I want you to really make sure that you're trying to find that balance. But you first have to understand, are you working to live or are you living to work? For a lot of people, it's scary if they're what I call generational workers. All you've ever known is having a job. Your parents had a job, your grandparents had a job. And when you think of being self-employed, people are like, whoa, what are you doing? You're not going to work. So it's a hard mindset shift. So you really have to ask yourself, what is the life you're trying to protect? What are those activities? What is that amount of time that you're looking for? And then seek what would help you with that. For a lot of people, a single job, that's not going to find it for them. They become self-employed, and being self-employed has its own challenges. When you're an employee, those hours are guaranteed for you. There's very little work you have to do as an employee. There's a lot of labor you have to do, but there's very little work when it comes to finding the clients, making sure the system's in place, making sure everything's legal. All that stuff is kind of taken care of. And so you're just being paid for your straight labor. That's it. You come in, you do A, B, C, you go home. And in the, a capitalist economy, that's not worth a lot. That's not a lot of value, which is why you get paid so little. And if you're trying to find a job where somebody does all the other work for you, but you get all the profit, I haven't found that. I don't think that exists, but if it does, drop a comment below. Let me know what that would entail. So that is my video for this Wednesday. I'm giving a fun little shout out to Milo and Ren. They have been my little troopers today, sitting here purring at my feet and motivating me to keep moving forward. So that's my work-life balance, is to make sure I'm here for my fur babies. I'm going to mention a book like I always do, but I've already mentioned this before. I just think it's so important when you're talking about work-life balance. I'm going to mention Mindset by Carol Dweck again. I want you to really understand that you can have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. If you have the fixed mindset of, I work, I pay bills, I'm a good citizen, and I can't do anything else, you're going to get very stuck. But if you could have a growth mindset of, hey, I'm trying this out. Hey, there are other opportunities. Hey, you know what? I tried something, it didn't work. I'm still a good person. Let's move my lessons forward. So I think that Mindset by Carol Dweck is a really good point for here today. My book, Your Money Sign, doing 5 videos a week for 2024, and I think that's all I got for you guys today. So please like, share, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers within our first year, and you are the ones who are going to help me get there. So thank you guys so much, and have a good day.